In 1750, the French philosopher and writer Jean-Jacques Rousseau wrote, "Money buys everything, except morality and citizens." This is where the modern saying, "money can't buy happiness, or friends, or love, etc." comes from. But is this statement true? In recent years, several studies have tried to answer this question, so let's take a look at evidence from economics and human psychology to understand this question for ourselves. The contemplation and study of happiness was, in the past, reserved for philosophers and theologians. In recent history, it has become a topic of interest in many social sciences, especially psychology and economics. Economics gives a unique perspective to this idea because of the focus on causal relationships. Causal means cause and effect, as in, when I kick a soccer ball, it moves. Studies done by David Kahneman, a behavioral psychologist, and Angus Deaton, who was awarded the Nobel Prize in Economics for his work on this topic, have shown a very simple conclusion, one that you may have seen before. Money improves happiness, but only up to a point. In the United States, this upper point is a yearly income of $75,000. After that, more money is said not to significantly improve day-to-day happiness. This means that the relationship between money and happiness, just like almost all other economic relationships, is subject to the effect of diminishing return. Diminishing return is a decrease in the marginal output of a production process as the amount of a single factor of production is incrementally increased. Basically, it becomes less efficient to do what you're doing. This diminishing return is also true for entire countries. Easterlin paradox, from the economist Richard Easterlin, states that once a developed country passes the threshold of average income, more growth doesn't increase average reported happiness. This is important for policymakers because it means that if you want to increase average happiness, money may not be the way to do it, especially in rich countries like Canada and the USA. Now let's look at this question from a psychological point of view. There is a psychological idea produced by the research from Philip Brickman in 1978 called set point theory, which assumes that each individual has a fixed average level of happiness around which our day-to-day happiness varies. This theory has powerful implications because it means that no matter what we do, it is more or less impossible to change our relative happiness by any significant amount. From this idea, it would be then that of course money can't buy happiness, but neither could anything else. Whether or not you think this theory is good or bad, it is met with quite a lot of argument. Again, studies by Richard Easterlin indicate that things like divorce, marriage, and the birth of a child vastly shift the reported level of a person's day-to-day life satisfaction and well-being. Another interesting psychological dimension to question is the effect of comparing your wealth and success with that of others. Studies by Christopher Boyce indicate that people who compare as more wealthy than others in their environment are more likely to report being happier, and vice versa. This supports the economic idea mentioned earlier about diminishing return because, in a simple sense, it may not help that much to be the richest person on the planet, but it can be helpful if you are on the top half of the socioeconomic ladder for your specific environment. What we see is that, although the upper and lower bounds are unclear, economics and psychology generally agree on the statement that, no, in the ultimate sense, money cannot buy happiness. This is especially true for young people, as financial burdens are usually lower. In the final words of his essay, The Economics of Happiness, which I have already referenced, Easterlin suggests that most people could increase their happiness by devoting less time to making money and more to non-pecuniary goals, such as family life and health. Non-pecuniary meaning not to do with money. To conclude, if you are chasing riches and happen already to be above the average economic threshold, you may be better off letting them get away.